All right. Welcome to the Unicorn. We're talking about all things independent comics, specifically the most ironically feminist comic book of 2003, Brian K. Vaughan's Y: The Last Man. I'm Mikey.
I'm Seamus.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I think that's the slogan. I think that's gonna work.
I think that's it. I think the only reason that's gonna be it is because I can't think of anything better.
True.
We can't really come up with anything else.
Yeah. So that's gonna be the intro. Well, yeah, today people are back at again another episode of the Y: The Last Man podcast, covering, the next volume in the series. Because we covered volume 1, so now we're gonna cover volume 2, which is titled Cycles. And that's gonna be covering issues 6 to 10. And yeah, I'm excited. Covering the first volume was a lot of fun. Had a really good discussions on it and all that stuff. So definitely looking forward to see what's next with Yorick, Dr. Mann, and Agent 355, and Ampersand, of course, lovely Ampersand.
Yeah, you guys don't fucking forget Ampersand, man.
Yeah, no, I'll never forget Ampersand. He's the GOAT. But yeah, but please, people, if you haven't already, if you're just finding us, or if you're new, if you're a subscriber already, appreciate you joining us as always. But if you haven't subscribed yet, please just hit a like and subscribe, please. Leave a like on the video and subscribe so you know when we drop new content. Again, this is gonna be a long series. We're gonna cover this till the very end, so it's gonna take a minute, but we'll get through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we'll get right into it. So we'll be discussing, I believe, issue number 6. My bad. So yeah, what's your thoughts on? So what's your thoughts on the cover for issue number 6, Seamus? Right quick, what do you think?
Men are pigs, baby.
Pigs? Men are pigs.
Hell yeah.
It's I thought this was hilarious. I thought this was okay, Brian came on. We see what you did there. We see the ideas, but yeah.
I like the new storyline lettering at the bottom. As if it's not just a direct continuation of the last issue when they're getting on the train. Which I'm okay, alright. I don't know if it's a new storyline, man. You're kind of just directly following up what the last issue was. You can't really call it that new.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this cover. It's a nice. I think I'm gonna like all these covers. I think we're really gonna get to one where I'm gonna be like, But this one,
J.D. Jones does a really good job of just kind of giving showcasing the mood of what's going on. So yeah, I think these covers are great so far. But let's get right into it. So this issue starts off with Yorick talking with what appears to be a train station operator. They're trying to figure out what to barter on this train. He's looking for passage, and he made it. And I love how in universe they make a really good point of saying that that trains are the most sought after transportation to go from coast to coast in the United States, because surprise, a lot of the pilots were all mostly men. So, and a lot of them fell out of the sky. So they're barely any planes to fly. So most of them are just going via train here. But he likes to mention as well that hey, listen, I got things. I don't really got vegetables or food, but I got a motorcycle. And she's like, oh, a motorcycle, you said. And yeah, so he decides to use the motorcycle that was used in the last volume as a way to barter to get on this train. And we also get this really good shot of this opening page of the train and how literally everyone is trying their best to just get on it as much as possible. Yeah, man, it's good stuff. But it transitions after that to to Yorick, sneaking on now that he has open passage, and the train I don't know what's it, train operator, conductor tells him that they have to go to the store. There aren't any cabins available. So he has to go to the storage cabin, and where all the farm animals are, and he pretty much sneaks Dr. Mann, and this is not the best situation it's not the best accommodations, but they gotta work with what they have to work with pretty much. So and then it transitions to just now them just like hanging out, chilling, like kind of enjoying the car ride, and yeah, it's pretty interesting just because like it's they're pretty much trying to evaluate like what's happening, like what the mission is, and and uh and yeah, I love how Yorick. I think Agent 355 kind of makes the assumption where it's like they mentioned the amulet and Yorick pickpockets said amulet with his escape artist skills, and she was like, and I like how, like we said last volume, a lot of there are a lot of interpretations to what happened with the death of all the men. Agent 355 kind of thinks that the amulet has something to do with it, due to like the doctor's warning. You know what I mean? Granted, do we know if that's valid or not? Let's come to find out. But it's like this scene is really dope just because we're trying to like so low key like kind of see, kind of like a camaraderie build with our three main characters. So yeah, it's good stuff.
I was gonna say it's like a nice little just like. Because now that you have like the three main characters involved, it's just a nice little moment where you get to like see now how they interact when they're all together to like solve a problem, to, like how to get on the train, what the fuck's going on. And I think that
Exactly.
Brian K. Vaughan does those like interpersonal interactions super well like that.
And yeah, and also they make a comment about York's dad and all that stuff, which is like, oh, it's about how Dr. Mann, because like he's trying to learn more about Dr. Mann, and I like how the fact that like he's like, oh, why'd you call yourself man? Like, aren't you like Japanese? And she goes into the fact that like it's she changed her name to make her name to make her seem less less Japanesey, I guess, to like the academic community, and the fact that that she's tenured, which York makes a note where it's like, oh yeah, like my dad literally like didn't get tenured until he was like in his 40s, and like he didn't even teach at a prestigious college like Harvard. He just taught at like an all women's college, so yeah, it's like they're just learning more about each other, which I think is really dope. So it transitions,
it's like little character bits and little tidbits like that Brian K. Vaughan adds that like make them feel a little more like real characters.
And also, just quick before we move on, like Dr. Mann mentions some stuff about like her family and and the relationship with her father, and that's actually going to be kind of important later on in the series, surprisingly. So yeah, just make a note on that. But it transitions to now to Boston at Fenway Park, where we see Hiro roughing up someone. And roughing up somebody for information. Yeah, they're trying to figure out where York is, because
outside of Fenway. That's me.
What? That's you outside of Fenway. You just start fucking people up out of nowhere.
Yeah, dude. After every game, you got to pick a random opposing fan and just fuck them up. That's like what you do on your way home after a Sox game.
All right. Well, I guess some things never change, even in the apocalypse. But yeah, they're pretty much like the Amazon are trying to figure out, where York is. Obviously, they're on his tail, and I love the fact that we get this kind of little bit of this conversation from Victoria and Hiro, and we kind of see a little bit of like Victoria's manipulation here, where she's trying to like comfort Hiro, saying how she's doing a good job, leading them to Yorick. And trying to find this man, and like you're doing so well, and that and Hiro's still kind of stunned the fact that she murdered someone last volume for the first time, and she's trying to comfort her, and it's like, listen, like you're doing a good job, it's for the greater good, and she actually slips her some extra rations, like listen, don't tell anyone, like this is like this is just between me and you, just to show my appreciation, and she pretty much literally starts like tearing up and it's like saying like how much she loves Victoria, and it's like, yeah, good old cult. There's cult tactics here.
Ooh, unhealthy relationship spotted.
So it transitions back onto the train, and again, like 355, Man and Yorick are having this conversation, more conversations, and they're talking about like how like this joint is kind of relatively nice to what he's been in before, and and they talk about where they've stayed previously. Like Yorick makes a joke where like, oh, he's kind of the nicest place he's been in was in the White House with his mom, but like he's also stayed in like the presidential suite like in the Four Seasons before, and he's like, and they like, oh, Doctor, I was like, really, why? He's like, cause I could, like, no one's gonna tell me no. And yeah, so they're trying to, so they've been there for like a little bit now. They're kind of they kind of can tell they're kind of in either Pennsylvania or Ohio, and at this point, and also the New York notices that there's a town, and this is with lights, and he said like he hasn't seen electricity in such a long time, and 355 tells Yorick that like the Copal Ring, which is the secret spy organization that she's a part of, has been tasked to like start to like slowly revive power grids across the country. And then he's like, he asks if there are any more secrets that she wants to share. Like, listen, that's classified. And she makes to know that like she didn't plan on babysitting an amateur magician, and he likes to say, no, actually no, I prefer illusionists or escape artists. And then she said, matter of fact, I have to finish my mission before the plague, and that's when, sorry, I cut ahead earlier. That's when he pickpockets the amulet.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he's like, how'd you get that? It's like, oh yeah, I had Amberson take it off of you earlier, and he wants to know what it is. She says it's classified, of course. She can't say anything, and then out of nowhere we get interrupted by these two, I guess, bandits. I don't know, like basically these, I guess, bandits or like toll runners. They pretty much are asking them to like pay them a little bit of money so that because they're jumping from one territory to the next, so trying to extort them. 355 pulls out a gun, saying that she'll take care of it. Dr. Mann tries to like pull the gun away from her, saying no, she doesn't want anyone being killed. And obviously you can tell how racist these bandits are due to them just dropping it at the N-bomb out of nowhere.
Already,
bro.
That's how you know you're out in your PA, bro.
That's how you do. That's how you know you're in Reading, PA, when someone just drops an N-bomb at you.
Because here in Boston, there's no racism, Mikey. Wouldn't happen in Boston at all.
It's just no. I don't know why I kind of find it hard to believe, but as someone who lives in Boston, I'll take your word for it, bro.
You'll take my word. You'll take the white guy's word that there's no racism in Boston.
How can there be? It's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. How come there be a Wahlburgers on every corner and no racism? That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, Wahlburgers stop racism.
but
Don't ask
anyway,
about what Mark Wahlberg did in the '70s to that Vietnamese man.
Oh my lord!
Don't ask about that.
But yeah, so a scuffle ensues. Yorick decides, kind of, getting over his head, and he tackles one of them. And because Yorick is a feeble man, the bandit gets the best of him and like throws him out of the car. And then 355 takes care of the rest of them, and is like, okay, listen, you're not gonna like this to Dr. Mann. Like, you're not gonna like this, but we gotta go after Yorick, so we gotta jump out of this fucking car. Dr. Mann's like, hell no, we're not gonna do that shit. I'm fine staying here. Y'all can I'll just go to San Francisco ahead of you guys, and then y'all can just catch up. It's like, no, we have to stick together. So then just 355 just does the right thing and just pushes her out of the car. So it transitions back to Hero and Victoria, back in Boston, and and they're pretty much going around like scouring for leads. One of the Amazons grabs this Russian woman, saying that she knows where the men are, and she states that she knows exactly where the men are, and that that her name's Natalia, and she knows exactly where the men are, and where it knows where they're located. And she asks where, and then she pretty much points up, and she said, pretty much in Russian. She says in Russian, but he says space, like they're in space. And they're just like, yeah, not buying it. They're like, we're searching for human men, not little green men on Mars. So then they pretty much brush her aside, and one of the other Amazons overheard something about they overheard someone on a motorcycle headed for the rail yard, and that they had, and then they said that they saw someone that looks like a man with a monkey, and then Hiro immediately is like, a monkey? She's like, no way, it couldn't be. So cuts to 9 hours later in Marysville, Ohio, and we see a woman approaching Ambersand, thinking that she's an escaped animal from the zoo. And then when she goes near him, she says, she gives a good old holy shit, drops her buckets of water that she's carrying, and notices Yorick. And all she could do is look down at him and say, "Thank you, Jesus." And that's how issue 6 ends. So that's on issue number 6, James.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it is the start of a new storyline. The cover was right. The cover
was right.
The cover was right. It would have got, but the new storyline does start at the end. They do really. They make you wait for it. But yeah, this issue's great because it's a great cliffhanger that doesn't. It's not because I hate bullshit cliffhangers that are like, let's cut off right at like a very important moment to like artificially create drama. Whereas this feels like both a natural endpoint and also like an exciting like, whoa, what happens next? Like the way it's framed with her finding passed out Yorick, like a passed out dude in the middle of the field, and she's like, thank God. It's a great joke, but also like a successful little setup. Ampersand on the rock, sitting on the rock, just being like, "Yo, what up?" Like she's more surprised by the passed out guy in the field than like the little monkey on the rock next to her. And I'm like, wouldn't you be focused on the monkey? Like there's a monkey right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you haven't seen a man in like months, like obviously you're gonna thank God for like the only man that's in your. But
there's a monkey in a diaper right there. Like the monkey's my fucking diaper right on the rock. I don't know why you're not gonna. If I saw this scene, I would at first literally be like, "Holy shit, that's a monkey wearing a diaper right there." Like what the fuck's going on over there?
Yo, people in the comments, what do you think is more surprising in this scenario? The last man on Earth, are you discovering the last man on Earth, or a monkey in a diaper? Let us know.
It's the fucking monkey in the diaper. This isn't a vote. Like, it's a monkey who is potty trained.
No, he's not. He was throwing shit at him in the last volume.
That's potty trained. He knows to shit and then throw it at people. He's weaponized his shit. That's training. That requires years of accuracy, years of training. Okay.
That's so funny. But overall, this issue was a good start to the new storyline. Again, I'm liking we get to see a little bit more of Hiro's relationship with the Amazons and how we see Victoria emotionally manipulating them. Emotionally manipulating them to get what she wants. That was dope. The twist at they're seeing more of the camaraderie between Dr. Mann, Yorick, and 355. That was great, and also learning more insight about what's going on in this world, in this dystopian world. Because I thought that's with the Culper Ring. That was really cool. Now they're like actively pursuing missions across the country, which is also different from what they did in the show. But it's good. And the twist at the end, I thought it was really cool. So yeah, it's good stuff. I got nothing else to say. I don't know if you want to move on to issue number 3. No, issue number 7. Sorry.
Issue number 7, bro. You know
all right, so Why the Last Man, issue number 7. Thoughts on this coverage? There's a bunch of Amazons doing Amazon shit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like the lineup of the bow and arrow on the motorcycle and shit, and then Victoria in the back, like telling them to, like, sicken a bunch of Amazonian women on him. I think it's a fun image.
I really think it's crazy though. Like, yeah, like this is a cult when like Victoria has implemented the idea that like the men dying was a biblical act, so that the Amazon that they are like the Amazons from myth, reborn to the point where they have to cut their breasts off so that they can use bow and arrows properly, more effectively, which is crazy to me. But again, like it's. I mean, even though this book came out in 2002, like, or 2003, but like, if this disaster did actually happen, I wouldn't be surprised if something close to this actually happened, in real life, So
I mean, yeah, if like a massive world-shaking event based off gender happened, I'm sure that would lead society to becoming, more gender focused based off as a reaction. You know what I mean? Just because, like, like if a mass casualty event based on gender happened, I'm certain there would be people who then afterward would be more radicalized to focus on gender, like, the Amazons here. But
for sure. All right, so let's go on to issue number 7. So transitions. It opens up with us in Marysville, Ohio, to now, pretty much, and we see Dr. Mann wake up in a field, and she's trying to get her bearings and figure out what's going on, and then she's just happy that she's alive, even though 355 threw her out of the train car, and she's and she's not even she made it without a scratch. And she's trying to look for where 355 is, and we get this crazy opening page of like 355, which is appearing to have her head freaking cracked open by a rock. So I remember when I read this the first time, I was like, oh my god, they just offered this kill 355 like that. Wow, that's crazy. Like,
I was literally like, oh shit, is she dead?
Yeah, they took her out.
That looks nasty as fuck what they did to her.
Yeah. But yeah. So then we'll see what's gonna happen with 355 going forward. Transitions to York waking up to the to kind of. I love how like Pia. I don't have the page, but the way Pia Guerra draws it, it's pretty much like how you would wake up from how your vision would adjust to you actually waking up. So we see it start from like from black and white to now like black and white shapes, and then see a faintest of color in full detail. And he thinks that it's Beth that he's seeing, and the person that he's talking to is saying like he's not gonna hurt him and all that stuff. And she also says who's Beth, and he wakes up like in panic mode, being like, holy shit, I just revealed myself to a bunch of women again. And he's just confused, and this woman's name introduced herself as Sonia, that she found him unconscious, and that and then she asks where he's at. York asks where he is. She says Morrisville, Ohio, and she wants to know where he came from. And he's like, I thought all the men were dead. And she's like, how do you know my name? He's like, oh, you had this membership card for the International Brotherhood of Musicians. Like, are you really like a magician like David Blaine? He's like, yeah, like fuck David Blaine. I'm better than David Blaine. I'm an escape artist.
Random David Blaine was funny.
Yeah, it's like he's so pretentious. Like I love it. But yeah, like but like listen, he said he needs to get out of here, and he has and that he has friends that that were with him. But then he gets out of the bed, he's butt ass naked, and he's like, hey, what do you do with my pants? And he's like, oh, they were dirty, so I washed them. He's like, I think you had like an accident in them too. So implying that he pissed himself.
No, York, don't piss yourself in front of the hose, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
And it kind of like it's kind of interesting to be like like with Sonia kind of acting like kind of like saying like that like he felt like she kind of dreamt that a man would like come back at some point, and that it felt like he fell out of the sky or whatever, and and once they're talking, they make kind of like pop culture reference to each other, and they kind of like click, and they get like closer and closer to each other. And then he mentions the you know, that he's never met anyone with who knew the correct lyrics to the song that they're talking about. Your wife? Like, not even your wife? And he's like, oh no, like I'm not my wife. He's like, oh, your ring, because he saw the ring on his finger, and he said to my beautiful wife, which is obviously he meant for Beth. And he was saying like, oh, like, you know, it's not, she's not like we're my girlfriend, but like we're engaged, kind of, sort of, you know. It's complicated. And then he realized, oh wait, yeah, like Angel 355 and Dr. Man are out there still, and that, you know, he needs to go find them. And he's like, listen, like, Yorick, don't worry. It's like, I'm sure they're fine. Cuts to like 355 fucked up, but doesn't know where she is. He's like Dr. Man managed to, like, you know, in her backpack, you know, get like a bandage and like some gauze, and and then she's doing the typical consciousness check stuff, acting like, you know, like, what's today, what's your name, and she says it's classified. It's okay, like, I mean, you're still good. And she suffered like some head trauma, and that, you know, she was able to stop the bleeding, but she needs to get to a medical facility. She's like, no facility. She grabs 355, grabs her gun, and said, absolutely not. He's like, you know, it's just a concussion. I'm not gonna put you out of your misery. And she's like, no, it's for you to defend yourself, in case those people attacked us, come back. And she's like, listen, like, guns are really my thing. And he's like, you're gonna need it, because, you know, because you're gonna need it, because I don't think I can, you know, move right. I can't really move on my own, so you're gonna have to leave without me. And you're gonna have to, like, you know, find New York before somebody else does. Transitions to back to Boston, when we see Victoria and Hero on a motorcycle, and they're chasing after the train conductor that we saw in the last issue. Who Yorick traded 355's bike to. They're tailing her, and then Hero shoots her with an arrow, pretty well. So she hits her in the leg, stopping her in her tracks. And they pretty much do a bit of an interrogation, asking her, like, you know, about what she knows, and like, and apparently, you know, and she reveals that, yeah, she saw a strange-looking woman in a gas mask carrying a monkey, and yeah, she pretty much reveals that she did in fact see someone matching Yorick's description. Transitions again to Yorick fully clothed. You know, it's pretty much, you know, they're saying thank you for everything, and that, you know, it was really sweet for them, sweet for him to take him in for a second. But he has to leave, and plus he mentions to Sonya that I can't let a lot of people know that I exist, because it just causes more problems. And then she said, yeah, about that. Yeah, because this is a town with like 67 women, and we all love to gossip. So did you really think that was going to keep something like you, the last one on Earth, a secret? And she opens the door, Europe opens the door to be revealed that there is a bunch of women waiting to see him. And he's just like, shit. And then Sonya introduces Yorick to the Morrisville town. And he's like, and one of the women asks him, like, "You the only one?" And he says, "Yep, I think so. Sorry." And she's like, like, you know, he's like, like, thinking like, of all the men that we could have gotten back, we get this fucking twink. You know, I think it's a very funny interaction. And he makes the note where it's like, is it just me, or like, is there no kids in this town? You know, which, you know, and she said, yeah. And so in your reveal that, like, yeah, she is the youngest. And then Yorick also notices that, like, you know, they have electricity, and that, yeah, and they reveal that, yeah, for a while now, they managed to get the electricity grid back online, as well as the greenhouse and some other essential things for the community. And he said, well, wait a minute, that means you have fresh food? And she's like, yeah, we literally, like, slaughtered a cow just for you tonight. And he's like, wow, I feel so special. And we get introduced to Lydia, who is the oldest woman in this town, who's like kind of pretty much like the community leader. and I love the fact that a lot, like I think York made a kind of a note that some of the he was surprised that they got all this stuff up and running, and Lydia makes a note that like he said, yeah, like at least sorry that like a bunch of helpless women couldn't get this up and running, and he said it didn't mean no disrespect. And I love how Lydia's like that's because we all had plenty of experience making do with without any men around. And then one of the ladies like, wait a minute, well, like Lydia, like don't, like relax, like don't reveal too much. And then turns out Lydia reveals that she was a Rosie the Riveter back in 42, so she can do a lot of, she has a lot of like handiwork and manual labor skills, and she taught everyone else to do the same. So yeah, it's just cool tidbits about the world happening. So transitions to Dr. Mann, pretty much catching up to Yorick and the rest of these ladies, and literally Dr. Mann trying to ask these women for help because 355 is injured, and Yorick makes a note that this is one of their friends, and the other one works for the government. Two of the ladies look at each other like, government, yeesh. But Dr. Mann pretty much makes the note that like, yeah, they have to hurry because that she pretty much left her alone, and hopefully she wasn't, that they had no one on her tail. Transition again to Hiro. I'm talking with the train conductor, and she actually has some more questions about this supposed about this person of interest, and she doesn't want to say, the woman doesn't want to say shit because fuck the Amazons. Hiro responds by taking an arrow and jabbing it in her hand, and she puts a gun to her head, and is pretty much trying to, and asking her like, did you see someone? You said someone with wearing a gas mask, wearing with a monkey, and what was his? Did you catch his name? And he said, yeah, his name's something like Rick. He's like, Yorick. Like, I guess so. Why, you know him? Yeah, since the day he was born. And the lady also reveals that they were heading eastbound, kind of eastbound towards Ohio. So the page ends with the Lydia and the group of other women talking about what's going on, and the fact that they realize they can't just kill him because he's that, because Sonya's attracted to him, is going like, I guess, relatively close to him. But she also said to Lydia that like she shouldn't have said what she said because you don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves, especially since York said his other friend works for the government. And she said if outsiders found out who we are or what we did, we're fucked. And she said Sonya should be back with him in a minute. Only thing we can do now is make sure that they never learn the truth. And that's how issue 7 ends. So issue 7, a lot of stuff happens in it.
Oh, don't learn the truth. What's the truth, Mike?
What's the truth?
What we don't know. What are these women scheming on our boy?
I know, man. It's crazy. But yeah, what you think? What you think?
Yeah, this is fun. It's an effective. It felt very similar narratively to the first issue, where it was kind of bouncing between these 3 different conversations happening at once to kind of more effectively build up suspense, which is what my favorite part of the first issue was. So to see it like kind of done again here, I was like, yeah, oh yeah, this is real shit right now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this issue was fun. Yeah, like what you said, like how they bounce back and forth from different moments. Again, more of the stuff with the Amazon is very interesting. The fact that I thought it interesting that Hiro discovering that her brother is alive she isn't like that, like, I don't know, like her reaction isn't very like shocked. Well, it's shocked at first, but like she goes from like shocked to like still involved with the mission of the Amazon still, which is like, damn, like that brainwashing runs deep. Yeah, it's very interesting how like her discovering that her brother's alive is shocking to her, but like but like she looks a little bit like conflicted about what's going on. The women living in Mooresville, and I thought that scene where York walks out and there's just a bunch of women waiting for him, just waiting for him, well, that was hilarious. I love Lydia, like I love that old Lydia, the old lady. She has some really good banter York, and like has like no patience for his shit at all. It's kind of interesting, yeah, that like this town of women, which they were able to pretty much through working together kind of make a solid sustaining community for themselves. Like it's kind of a nice little resemblance of normalcy for them, and it's very impressive. But at the same time, like clearly they're hiding something that they're hiding something about themselves that they don't want anyone else finding out about them, because York is kind of, and if you've been paying attention, York has been pointing things out slowly, how like he said, how there's no children in this town at all, and the fact that when Lydia makes a note where she says we're used to doing stuff without men around, so whatever that means, it involves what they're hiding. So we'll see. But yeah, it's a good issue. This issue's great. But all right, bro, you good on issue 8 so we can move on to issue 8?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Y the Last Man, issue number 8. Thoughts on this cover, because it's a thumbnail on the video. I love this cover a lot. It's really cool. Showcases a
great romance novel-esque cover, which is I enjoy it. I like the little the little romance novel kind of vibe it's given.
Which is like kind of funny that I guess Brian K. Vaughan in his books likes that likes the romance cover look, because he does that a lot in Saga. Like in some of the issues of Saga.
Saga makes sense more though, because Saga's romance is a heavy aaspect with
oh, absolutely,
the main relationship. Here it's done just for the bit. It's done just to be like, oh, he's cheating, which is funny. I enjoy it.
But like, here's the thing though, right? Like, is it cheating? Because he doesn't know if Beth's alive or dead.
It is cheating because he was dating her. Mikey, I don't know if you know this, but if you're dating someone,
I know, yeah. But like, I don't know. Sometimes
that's like that Breakfast Club clip where they're like, "How long you been faithful?" Mikey, you can cheat in a relationship when you're dating someone, okay?
Oh my lord, yeah, but yeah, you're right. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, especially with this issue. In Tales of the Cover, that I wouldn't be surprised due to the circumstances York, bounces around from time to time, which we'll see throughout the course of this book. I'm not sure. But yeah, so we'll start this issue off back in Boston, and it starts with Hero and Victoria, and now that Hero finds out that her brother is alive. And she reveals to Victoria that the person that is this mystery man is her brother York, and that and it makes sense. It makes sense because he's an escape artist. He was training a pet monkey. And he told me that before he died. And it makes sense why he would go to Boston, because he was probably looking for me. And it makes sense why they would go out to a training in Ohio, because Ohio is where York was. Coincidentally, York was born in Ohio. And Victoria was immediately like, well, then it's also the place where he's going to die. And she's immediately like, no, like, why would we do, like, no, that's my brother, like, he's not our enemy. And Victoria literally punches her square in the face and is like, and she asks him, do you remember the first time you saw his dick, Hero? And it's just like, wait, what? The first time he showed, even though you guys are blood related, he's like, I imagine you were exposed to his sex organ, and she was like, maybe, I guess. He's like, how do you remember how you felt when he showed you his sex organ? He's like, probably like you were disgusted, weren't you? And then she said like, yeah. And then she goes on this kind of like this philosophical montage of how since pretty much the moment he was born, like she was a plague onto his life, because that's what men are. Men are plagues. Men are men are a plague. They're all bastards. They're poison. literally she just it's wild when she says that she says he's like, why do you think men discharge waste and seed at that and seed in the same hole? And then she literally says because semen is poison. And I'm like, wow, way to make that connection. That's insane. And then she literally said like, listen, like you don't want this creature to poison any of your sisters, do you? She says, no, I love my sisters. He's like, then what must be done what must the daughters of the Amazon do with this brother of yours? And she immediately says, kill it. And so yeah, no, Hero's lost on the sauce. She is brainwashed.
It's like only been a month and she's already whacked. Like, what the fuck was going on? Like these fucking, it's literally only been like a fucking, been barely a month and shit's already, like in other apocalyptic situations, it's like something major happens, like there's zombies, there's shit involved that make people go crazy. But here it's just like, yeah, the dudes disappear, and then all of a sudden you've got now this entire band of women who are just batshit insane, and you're like, whoa, I don't know if it go that far. I don't know if we'll be going to that level. There might be a couple, but like this makes it seem like there's like an entire colony of them. I don't know how much that would be true, but it just made it for Hero especially to me. I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
What made you snap this quickly, this fast, in like a month?
Yeah, it's wild the fact that Hero. It hasn't been that long. It hasn't been that long for Hero at all to for her to change like this. So the fact that like Victoria, it shows how much of a threat Victoria is. It's wild. It's wild. The fact that she was able to turn Hero that fast is crazy to me. But yeah, we'll see where this goes. But it transitions to 8 hours later in Murrysville, where Yorick and Dr. Mann are taking care of 8355. And then she pretty much said that yeah, she was afraid that she had a subdermal hematoma, but fairly confident that it's just post-concussion syndrome, so all she really needs is rest. And Yorick pretty much hugs her and glee, telling her to thank you, that she's a great doctor. And she says, yes, I know. So being hella cocky as shit. And then the other women come in, and she, literally Dr. Mann pretty much says like this wouldn't be also possible without their help, because they helped her, and that because they helped her bring her here, but also the fact that they also have a working medical facility as well. So yeah. So Lydia asks Sonia that if they her and Yorick could go and grab some firewood, chop some firewood for everyone, because it's gonna be a cold front tonight. And she agrees. She agrees, and yeah. But first, Tess, who is this woman over here, asks before she goes to have a word with her first in private, and she pretty much says that this is like you didn't tell the outsiders anything, did you? And she's saying outsiders, what are you talking about? What are you pointing all of a sudden? He's like, listen, did you tell him anything? He's like, no, the three of us barely talked. Like, we were just worried about getting that secret agent lady back here. It's like, why are you freaking out? And he said, listen, he said, like, Yorick said that that these guys were his government friends. He's like, and if they ever find out like what we are, what we are, who we are, what this place actually is, it's like they'll try to take us all away from here. And we just need to get rid of them. And it's like, no, so keep your mouth shut and he said, keep your mouth shut pretty much about who we really are. Don't say anything. So it transitions to Yorick and Sonia going on a walk towards the wood pile so they can chop up some firewood. And they're pretty much they're just talking shit and making a bunch of innuendos and stuff like that. So they're really much kind of like getting closer, kind of like growing a rapport, growing a little bit of a relationship here. And Yorick makes the note that actually funny enough that Ohio is actually where he was born, and that his parents always talked about their time here and how lovely it is because obviously he was too young to remember it. And also he said that he moved back. His parents moved out once his mom like ran for Congress, something like that. It said that like they were famous for that this place was famous for their pierogies or whatever in Ohio, and she pretty much is like brushing it off and saying, "Listen, let's just get back to work." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Sorry for boring the shit out of you, I guess." So it transitions back to 355, and she's kind of going in and out of consciousness. She's just saying stuff, saying how sorry she is, and that's how sorry she is about what happened with Jordan and with Jordan, the incident in Jordan in the beginning, as well as mentioning Egypt and Panama. And 355 is trying to comfort her, saying, "Listen, like you're delirious, like you probably shouldn't." He's like, "Listen, I want to." He's like, "You do." He's like, "I want." Like, "I don't understand, but I want you. He's like, "But I want you to." But I want you. And she said, like, he was like, "What?" He's like, "I'm not sure what to say." She's fussed like 355 wants her. What you mean you want me? And 355 pretty much says, "I want you, Yorick." And she's like, "Wait, Yorick? Why not me?" So it transitions to Yorick and Sonya. And Yorick and Sonya's pretty much making fun of Yorick, saying how he chops with like a girl. And he's like, "Listen, I apologize. I'm not a fucking lumberjack. I'm an escape artist." And he's like, "Can you teach me how to escape?" And he's like, "Escape from what? Marysville?" And he's like, "Why would you want to leave here? This place is a utopia. It's beautiful." And she's like, "Listen, like you like," and she makes a joke. It's like, "Yeah, you haven't seen us. You haven't seen us during our periods. All of our cycles are in sync. So once a month, this town turns into a bloody whirlpool of bitchiness." And he's like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, I'm kidding." But he's like, "But yeah, I would really. I would. The only reason I would ever leave is to be with you." And she's like, "Wait, whoa, like, what do you mean? Like, because my situation here is complicated." And she's like, and she's like, "No, like, you think I cramp your style?" Like, "No, not like what does that mean?" It's like, "Listen, like, I know you're the last one on Earth, and probably like, you probably don't want to have a girl tie you down because you probably have to like, repopulate the world." And she's like, "Listen, like, I have a girlfriend overseas, like, and she said, like, you have a girlfriend that I know, but she's overseas and you're here, and I bet it's hard." So she's like laying off some game right now, bro. Sony's laying off some game. And she's like, "Yeah, it is." And he's like, "Listen, like, the situation's messed up, but like, I'm trying to not take advantage of the situation." He's like, "You believe in God after everything that happened?" He's like, "I don't now. It's like I used to, but I guess I'm one of those recovering Catholics." And he's like, "And so all this devotion to your girlfriend, is that really just some leftover hang up about sex?" And he's like, "Maybe, but like, Beth was the first girl I ever slept with, and she reveals like she was the only woman who wanted me back when I was just an unemployed loser, if nothing else. Like, I think I owe her some loyalty." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm sure a lot of girls wanted you back then." York's like, "Listen, nah." He's like, "They just didn't know how to tell you." And he was like, he's like, "Are you gonna do a trick for me?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I got some, some handcuffs, or like, I don't got a handcuff or straight jacket. But I bet you $100 I can get, I can guess what color underwear you have on." He's like, "You don't have $100. He's like, "Fine, I'll bet you my watch." He's like, "Deal. So what are they?" He's like, he put his hand like it's a psychic, like he's Jean Grey. And he's like,
he's doing the
he's like, "Oh, I think you're wearing black." And he's like, "Okay, now give me your watch." And he's like, "Give me your watch." He's like, "Why?" He's like, "I'm not." He's like, "You, because you're wrong. I'm not wearing any underwear." I was like, "Damn, she laying game. Like she laying game right now." And he said, he asked her to prove it, and she said, "Folk over the timepiece. It's all yours." So, "Hey, this is my watch." He's like, "How did you?" And then they kind of like lean in closer, and they share a kiss underneath the tree. And it kind of gets a little bit more. It's about to get a little bit more closer than that. And she pushes herself off of him. He's like, I can't do this." He's like, "What?" He's like, you can't do this. What do you mean you can't do this? We're getting going there for a second." And she was like, "Listen, he's like, it's wrong." He's like, "Yeah, you're right. Christ, I'm such an asshole." Because she means that he's cheating on Beth, but she's like, no. Listen, like, I'm a junkie. I'm literally a crankhead. He's like, "I've been clean now ever since the plague happened." I've just got my life back on track, but like, you know, and he literally was like trying to sympathize. I had a cousin who overdosed. Like, I understand. But he said, no, Lord, you would literally hate me because I'm also a convicted dealer. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, like the guy that she was the guy that she was seeing at the time. They used to they were both using, and she used to cook the stuff, and he would cook the stuff, but but she only really ever made enough for us until the point where her boyfriend made her make more than enough so he can go out and sell it, and they both got arrested, and yet he got less of a sentence because he pretty much pinned everything on me, saying that I was the mastermind behind everything. So I ended up getting 10. He got 15 months. I got 10 years. And he's like, wait a minute. So you're saying you're some kind of escaped convict? And like, listen, haven't you figured that out yet? That's every woman in Morrisville. This is a prison town. There's a women's facility less than a mile away. And then she said, yeah, when all the men died, the warden decided to turn us all loose instead of letting us starve to death on ourselves. And most of the guards lived in houses we're in now. They took off months ago. I guess they couldn't stand staying where their husbands and little boys died. And then and it's like, York, none of us want this to happen, but the other inmates, all of them got along so well, and they pretty much did a good job of making a community for themselves. And so listen, I want to tell you sooner, but I understand why you don't want people to but you have to understand why we can't let people know, because it would just ruin it would just ruin everything that we've accomplished. And listen, I want you can you promise me to keep it a secret for now? And she's like, okay. And then she asked him, like, you know, promise him to keep it a secret. It turns York be like, Percy bursts back in the house, be like, they're criminals. And it's just like, damn, like, he couldn't keep that secret at all. And he pretty much goes out of nowhere and saying, he's like, listen, like in 350, Dr. Man's like, what are you talking about? He's like, listen, they're all criminals. This is and he tells me this is a prison town. They're all convicted criminals. And he's like, listen, tell her. He goes to test. Tell her what you did. What did you do? And he said, armed robbery. And she said, what do you? And he asked the other woman, what are you in for? Fraud, but mostly healthcare fraud. But I never. And he goes up to Lydia, the old lady, and she said, what did you do? What did you kill somebody? He's like, yeah, my husband. And I don't regret it for a damn second. I'd do it again. Crazy. And it's like, you see, Doc, they're all a bunch of thieves and murderers. It's like, and they still are debt to society, don't they? And he's like, I mean, why the hell should I get? I was like, why the hell should they get to live in paradise? And she hears a voice in this and say, that's enough, York. She's like, who is that? And literally, Sony says, who is that? Turns around, and he says, like, and it turns around to have Hero with a bow drawn at him, being like, you're coming with me. It's like, you come with me, or my sisters will slaughter every woman in this town. And that's how issue 8 ends. So that's on issue 8.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah. The twist. When I first read it, the twist, I was just like, oh. You know, the way he built it up with the suspense it had, I was excited for it. And then when the reveal happened, I was just like, okay. Ladies, society's collapsed. Society is entirely collapsed. There's a group of warrior women who cut off one breast and they're hunting everyone down and they're murdering people on the street. I don't really think anyone gives a shit if you got for like Grand Theft Auto back in like 2000. Like,
yeah, I think the last thing these women in this dystopian world would care about if you had a rap sheet or not. Know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Who gives a fuck, man? They'd be murdering people out in the street right now. Like,
yeah. You know? But yeah, man, this issue is mad. It thought it was really good. It is very interesting to see, you know, York kind of connect. Your back, Seamus?
Dude, the women care, I guess.
The women care, man.
Do care if you have a rap.
They kick you out of the.
They beat the shit out of me, man. They beat the shit out of me for jaywalking.
What were you saying?
I was just saying, it doesn't really make sense given we established that like in the first issue, we already got some half naked woman pulling a gun on York, collecting dead bodies in the street. I don't really think they care. So that's why I think the reveal fell just a little flat for me for that reason.
Well, I mean, put it this way: when try to go into their shoes, yeah, if you've like been incarcerated for crimes like for a long time, and then suddenly you get a literal get out of jail free card when all the men die, you're gonna still think that people that still want society to run back to normal, they're gonna expect you to owe your debt to quote unquote owe your debt to society and do your time, after even though after they're freed technically. So it would make sense why being incarcerated for so long would have them on edge even after they obtained freedom. So it kind of makes sense in a way. It makes sense, but also it's like I don't think really people really care in this situation. Yeah, man. But I really do like the relationship that Yorick builds with Sonya here. I think it's really interesting. Yeah, he is cheating, but again, Beth is all the way over there, bro, and connect. I think that's the one thing that Yorick, unfortunately, was gonna have to deal with, is that he is going to be making connections with other people along the way of this journey. Because again, getting to Australia now is much harder to do so.
Still there. It's like so many things are up in the air. It's respectable that Yorick's still going back to try to get her, but also I think if Yorick chose not to, I don't think anyone would blame him too much just because of how fucking crazy the world is at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. Due to the circumstances right now, the world has collapsed. And
exactly. At that point, I think people, if Yorick stayed there and started a new life, I don't think anyone would be like, oh, Yorick, you dick. They'd be like, yeah, dude, get off the street. They're gonna fucking kill you.
Exactly. And again, we don't know what's the circumstances with Beth right now. We don't know if she's dead or alive. But it is great that Yorick is dedicated to trying to find her to see if she's okay. And but at the same time, it's you can't blame this man for connecting with other people, especially because he's the last man alive, supposedly. And he has such a big responsibility. Now, he has so much weight on his shoulders just for the fact that he didn't die. So it makes sense why he would have a connection with someone along the way, relatively quickly, I guess. But yeah, other than that, I also think it's kind of fucked up that Yorick is being a little shit and immediately by being they're criminals. These women are criminals. They're terrible people. We should get out of here. Listen, bro.
Yeah, Yorick is already being a bitch. It's dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? This is your last safe haven from the actual criminals, the actual fucking insane people, and you're gonna try to antagonize all of them because they got for armed robbery back in 1998. Who gives a fuck, Yorick? How about you go back to fucking unlocking some cuffs and doing some close-up magic trips with your little fucking monkey and stay the fuck out of the business. They're housing you, they're feeding you, they're kissing you. Shut the fuck up.
They're doing
Shut the fuck up, man.
They're doing so much. They're literally taking care of him, and he's immediately judging them. I was like, bro, stop being a prick, bro. And then it's
that is straight up a 2000s white man right there. Let me tell you something. That's a 2000s white man.
Ryan Cavon exactly knew what he was doing. Ryan Cavon knew exactly what he was doing. He's gonna
immediately fucking tattle. He's gonna immediately try to tattle. And it's dude, who are you even tattling to? They're all criminals. They all know. Who are you surprising? Dr. Man? And what's Dr. Man gonna say? I don't give a fuck. These people are nice.
And plus, I don't really think that Angel 5 would even care because she's also killed people. So,
exactly. No one would give a shit. Yorick's the only one who cares. And it's at that point, dude, shut the fuck up.
And here's the thing, right? It's even more just messed up that he's judging them because they didn't ask to be released. They were serving their time.
Yes. By all accounts, all these people were dutifully serving their time and not, and taking their punishment. And then by the grace of God, they get caught in a cataclysmic event, and they decide to use that to rehabilitate themselves and create a society for themselves that works and actually doesn't have any crime. And you're going to come in here and be like, well, you got arrested for jaywalking in 1998, therefore you are evil. And it's dude, you're a bum. You do nothing but try to unlock fucking handcuffs all day. Don't be telling these women what they should be doing with their lives right after they rebuilt it, dude. Holy shit, man.
They literally could have gone back and committed more crimes. No, they had a camaraderie with one another. They cared for each other. They built a community that's sustainable and that works. And they're literally using that community. They're wasting the resources on your bum ass. Like, stop being an asshole. Like, you know, which is that's kind of like the constant thing for people that for Y the Last Man. Yorick will have his moments where he's just like you want to punch him in the face. Like, it's like it's so frustrating.
Yeah, you're just like, oh my god, man. Listen, if you were doing anything with your life before the apocalypse, I would give more credence to what you're saying. But you were a recent college graduate bum who was doing nothing besides fucking learning magic and learning escape artist bullshit. Okay, man? You don't get to say shit. You get to say thank you very much to everyone who's helping you right now, because like
exactly,
you ain't him. You're not him, pal.
You're not him. You're not that guy. You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy.
But overall, I thought this issue was good. I thought it was a good issue. Anything else?
It was like I said, reveal was not my fave, but also it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just like
yeah, for sure. But yeah, bro. You ready to move on to issue number 9?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so yeah, issue number. Oh, I didn't even get the last page. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Hero being a bitch.
I was gonna say, yeah, okay. You kind of need to hit that up.
Yeah, issue number 9 of Y the Last Man. Thoughts on this cover? Is damn dope cover.
Yeah, that's exactly where he should be after fucking ruining their entire civilization they created for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, poor Ampersand looks like he's about to cry because he can't believe what Yorick just said. He ruined their chance at living a nice life.
If only Ampersand could talk, he would probably be like, "You're a fucking idiot. Why am I stuck with you?"
Ampersand is throwing his shit directly in Yorick's face, being like, "You dumb motherfucker! I could have been dead for you."
You know how many bananas I could be eating right now? But you had to fuck it all.
Eating a bunch of shit.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I really do love Ampersand's facial expression on this cover. It's so fucking funny.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So bad.
But yeah, bro, let's get into this. Let's get into
anyway,
this,
yeah, so picking right up where we left off last issue. Hero walks in and Yorick's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "What? He has this funny line where he's like, "How did you find me? And why are you dressed like an Amazon?" And before he's able to finish that sentence, she totally whacks him in the head.
Whacks him in the fucking face.
Fucking whacks him down. And you're like, yeah, that's what you get for bitching at those poor women who... And then Yorick sits up and he's like, "It's okay, Sonya. She's my sister. She's just fucking around. Like, she's joking, right?"
He's so naive. He's so naive.
I don't think she's joking because she sees all the Amazons outside. And then Hero's like threatening the other women and is like, "The mail's coming with me, or I'm gonna burn the place to the ground." And Yorick the whole time just like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" And Hero's like, "You're asking me what I'm doing. What are you doing? I thought you were in love with Beth." And Yorick's like, "Hey, what do you mean? I'm not. I'm hanging out with these women because they're keeping me safe. What the fuck do you mean? I still am." And then
she's like, "I saw what you did, though."
Yeah, that's when she's like, "I saw what you did to her." And Sonya's like, it was not that bad, guys. This crazy lady's making it sound worse than it was. We just kissed for a second." And then Victoria starts giving her like evil speech. Just, you know, like, "Oh, we know you're prisoner."
Again, she does that. She does
we know you suffered at the hands of oppressors, but we are not your oppressors. He's the oppressor, and like, we're here to liberate you. And all the girls are in there, you know, after her villain monologue where she's listing all these stats about you know, crimes based on gender and based off, you know, just a bunch of gender statistics and stuff like that, which, you know, are not wrong. They're not wrong, but
they're not wrong.
They're not wrong at all. But she is, you know, not really the most sane person to be delivering those correct statistics.
Yeah, so, and she's also generalizing that those statistics apply exactly to these women, and they literally call her out being like, "No, shut up." And
she's trying to, you know, push those statistics on women that might not necessarily stand with. And so then Sonny stands up to Hero and is like, "Just because some stuck-up bitch reads a few statistics doesn't mean she knows who we are." And you're like, "Hell yeah, Hell yeah. And she's like, so unless you're gonna kill all of us, you can go out there and tell them that we're not giving them up. And then Hero's like, so you're all just agreeing like that? And then Lydia's like, damn straight we are. And Hero's like, I'll let Victoria know she's gonna be angry. And Yorick's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And then all the girls start devising a plan. And Yorick's like, wait, I don't get it. Why are you saving me? And Lydia's like, but just because you're like an asshole doesn't mean you deserve to be like brutally executed. Like,
Yep.
it would be kind of hypocritical for us to brutally execute you for making a mistake a second ago. And Yorick's like, oh. And it's like, yeah, dude. Yeah, these people are good people. Maybe next time, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Lydia literally killed her husband, yet she still has compassion for him. You know, it's crazy.
Anyway, so then Yorick, they're trying to find weapons. Yorick's like, I'm gonna go out there because they want me, and they're like, oh, they're gonna kill you, and Yorick's like, listen, if they really wanted to kill me, I would have been dead instantly. Obviously, they're not killing me for some reason. If there's any time that I can take to try to get through to Hero, then I'm gonna at least go give it a shot. And he's like, so if I die, don't let any of those fuckers touch Ampersand.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, you're not in like a fucking Western. Like, you can't like it's me defending the town type of, shit. And he's like, yeah, I might die, but at the very least, if I die, then that means the town doesn't get destroyed. And he's like, I'm sorry I was an asshole before, but you guys have really built a nice town for yourselves. You guys are very nice people. I'm sorry I kissed you 2 times, Sonya. And she's like, what do you mean? You only kissed me once. And then he kisses her again. And then he walks out on the front porch and you're like, all right, there you go, Yorick. You're locking in. Good on you.
He has some balls. There.
He's learning. He's growing. He's becoming more of a fully formed human.
even though he's walking in front of a bunch of Amazons with like no weapons, which is crazy.
Yeah, and so Victoria's like, what the fuck's going on? And Yorick steps out and is like, what up? It's your boy. And Hero's instantly like, don't you dare talk to her. Get on your knees, you fucking
man.
he's trying to double speak to her, where he's like, all right, Hero, I know you're acting, so what's the plan? And she's like, shut the fuck up. And he goes, I know, you went undercover to infiltrate the Amazons, right? Like we used to play. And then he hits him, and then that's when she hits him, that's when he's like, oh fuck. So she's like fully in shit. and so Victoria starts reciting Shakespeare to him with Alas Poor Yorick, and he's like, yeah, never heard that one
before.
Fucking Jesus.
That's funny.
And so she starts bringing up this fucking chest metaphor, and it starts calling Yorick a rapist and everything, and Yorick's just like, oh Jesus Christ, you guys just like, you can't even kill me correctly without having some like fucked up, convoluted, metaphorical monologue. And Victoria's like, okay, fine. And then she puts the gun to his head, and then you hear like a thunk, and then Yorick's still alive, and then it cuts to like this very nice single page splash of Victoria with an axe through her head. And then it's revealed Sonya just fucking chucked an axe right at her head and hit her right in the fucking head.
I'm not gonna lie though, I was like, yo, W for Sonya, but I luckily was hoping it was Lydia being like, yo, I killed my husband, I'll kill again.
Lydia going like, shut the fuck up. And then Hero goes crazy, shoots an arrow, and then kills Sonya. And so Yorick's holding a dying Sonya and is like, Dr. Man can save you. And Sonya dies in Yorick's arms, and Yorick cries over her. And then Yorick grabs the gun and then points it directly at Hero's head. And Hero begs to be killed, and that's the end of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, whoa. Well,
this whole issue was like, whoa.
Well, what's been going on?
Oh man, no, its issue was intense. It was like, yeah, Yorick, Yorick, understands the compassion with the prisoner, which I thought was a great moment, and he then decides to sacrifice himself, even though he does have the most important role of humanity, but he doesn't care as long as he doesn't want his life to be in the way of he doesn't want others to die. He doesn't want others to die so he could live. So I think that or for him to be captured, I thought it was really great. So yeah, he's growing a little bit. He's getting some balls. He's getting some balls a little bit. Him, talking to Victoria and being like Victoria's saying the alas poor Yorick thing from Shakespeare. He's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Just kill me now.
Yeah, you're already like, oh Jesus Christ, can you just shoot me? Can you please just shoot me? Because I can't handle these people fucking monologuing at me for the 80th time in a row. Which I thought was it's so fucking funny. It's great.
Yeah, it's a really great moment. And yeah, no, we were saying this off camera before we started, but we kind of forgot that fucking Victoria got taken out this early. We're like, damn. Because when I saw that picture of her getting, that axe put in her head, I was like, wow, I forgot this happened this fast. I could have sworn we had a little bit more time with her. A little bit more time with her.
I kind of did. I like that though, because I think that is a great it's a great switch up that I'm okay with, because I wasn't too attached to Victoria already, and her dying surprising like that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because you could already tell Hiro was going to be the more interesting antagonistic figure. You know what I mean? So I think, having that Victoria death as a shock to give way to Hiro being kind of the main one is a shocking death that works for me.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it works, and it does. Yeah, kind of lift up Hiro, lift up Hiro from her pedestal a little bit, where it's like she's going from now being a lackey of a cult member to be the potential leader of said cult. So
yeah,
it's good. It's interesting progression for her, I think. But yeah, no, overall this was a good issue. I loved it. I loved it a lot. But yeah, no, rip to Sonya. She was a real one. She was a real one.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Sonya, for real. Yeah, so I got nothing else to say. I thought this issue was really good. So we'll move on to, I guess, to issue 10, the last issue.
Yeah.
Alright, so Why the Last Man, issue number 10. I think it's my favorite cover. I love this cover a lot. I don't know why, I just love it.
See, I was gonna say this one for me was just okay. It's not too crazy, but it's not, it's not bad or anything, but it's just it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I just like the collage look. I don't know why. I just dig it. It's Yorick and Ambersand, and then we got Hiro in the corner, and we got a helicopter that's going to be relevant in a second.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be there in a second.
Mm-hmm.
So this issue starts again right where we were. Where Yorick has the gun to Hiro's head. Hiro's like, shoot me. And Yorick's
kill me.
Yorick's like, I'm gonna fucking do it. And Dr. Man's trying to talk him down, and Yorick's like, she killed an innocent lady. She, is my sibling or not, she crossed the Rubicon. And Yorick's like, what is that? What is crossing the Rubicon? And he's like, stop it. And she's like, what? But what does it mean? What is Rubicon? And he goes, it means you're past the point of no return, that you're fucked, that you're done. You just killed another human being. And she's like, you don't know what Rubicon means, do you? And then that's when she's like, Dad always liked you best because you're the smart one, but you're not actually that smart. You love to show off all the stupid shit you memorize, but you don't really understand the world, not like I do. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Get off your high
you don't
horse.
Understand the world like I do. Yeah. Is that why you cut off one breast and decided to follow a librarian who rode a bunch of motorcycles to go kill any possible remnants of men or trans men in the world?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Is that why you became a TERF? Because you really deeply understand the world, you fucking idiot. And so, yeah, and then it's because it's so funny how I do think that the Amazons are as an antagonistic, trans exclusionary radical feminist group is a great it's a great example of those types of groups, because Hiro instantly is like, you don't understand the world as I do. you men are sick, and also starts degrading any woman that associates with those men to show that she's not really like truly a feminist, because like she in this panel right after minimizes Sonya as a person to just like Yorick's little fuck buddy that killed like the Victoria and the Amazons forever. And you're like, yeah, see, you're not really a feminist because you're already minimizing this poor lady who was defending her civilization of other women that she built on her own into a utopian society as just someone's like fuck buddy, even though they only kissed once. Like, you know what I mean? It just shows that Yorick is like so far gone and is just such a fucking like. It right now is just so like not evil, but just like so just not mentally there right now. And so yeah, and so Hero's like, I know why Mother Earth destroyed men. Like, you're gonna have to pull that trigger because one of the Amazons will finish, and men will finish you, and men will be extinct. But I'm never gonna die. And that's when Yorick's like, you're wrong, and then pulls the trigger, and there's no bullet goes off. It just clicks, and then Yorick puts the gun down and says, "Dad always liked you best." And then you get the title card, and you're like, whoa. And so then Hero's like, you're supposed to shoot me, and Yorick gives the gun to the girls, and it's like, you just lock these ladies up, like they're fucking evil or whatever. And then that's when Lydia's like, no. When we founded the town, we vowed that we would never do to them what was done to us, like never. And then that's when some of the other girls are like, they killed Sonya. Like, this is different. They're killers. And then Lydia's like, yeah, and so am I. And I want to kill again for what they did. But like, without the girl that was controlling them, they're all just like scared girls. Like, we'd be hypocrites. And then Yorick's like, come on, like that's insane. They murdered like out of like fanaticism, like they're insane. And then that's when Yorick's like, you know what, I don't even care anymore. Yeah, and then he walks off, and Dr. Man's like Yorick, wait. And then he walks off, and Dr. Man tells Lydia, she's like, listen, Lydia, I understand, but like these people are like a crazy cult who are like super murderous. Like, they are not like your average like, I murdered someone and I regret it. You know what I mean? Like, they are like, we are trying to systemically eliminate groups of people at a time for our own goals. And that's when Hero's like butts in and is like, we don't do that. And Dr. Man's like, oh yeah, well, you burned down my laboratory. And then Hero's like, we didn't burn down your laboratory. And they're like Hero's like, you saw me, why would I lie about burning down your laboratory? And then Dr. Man's like, well, then who the fuck burned down my laboratory? And then we cut to the real villain of the book, the Israelis.
Yeah, Gal Gadot.
The Israelis are finally attacking America. It's finally happening. And they think it's Al-Qaeda, of course, because you know, right after 9/11, all Americans think anyone from the Middle East is Al-Qaeda. And they're like, no, they're talking Hebrew. They're Israelis.
They're Israelis. And it was like, wait a minute, they're our ally. Why the hell are they here?
Yeah, and so the Israelis are attacking the one of the Massachusetts National Guard, and they start communicating with the U.S. government, and they're like,
well, we don't know who's on the other side.
What?
Well, we don't know who's on the other side.
Well, no, they said the Americans.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Well, he says radio for you, it's the American. So he's talking to the American government, and they're like, the Americans are like, what the fuck are you doing? And the Israelis are like, we're doing this because you're not going to give us where Yorick Brown is. And they have this whole conversation about like what was promised to them. You know, like, you don't even know if Yorick Brown's real. Like, you're just looking for like a myth. Like, we're all on the same side. You know, let's relax here. And that's when they relay that they're like, Yorick Brown is in a small town called Marysville in Ohio, and the Israelis are like, are you sure? We're like, where does that intelligence come from? And the Americans are like, I can't tell you where that came from, but I can't tell you he's not going to be there long. So then the Israelis start to go towards where Yorick is, and that's when 355 shows back up while York's sitting by a campfire, just like kind of like thinking over what happened. And York is, just sitting there. And 355 shows up and is like, the Rubicon is a river in Italy, by the way. And York's like, holy shit, you're not like fucking brain damaged.
You're not a vegetable right now.
355's like Caesar crossed it to confront his old friend Pompey and plunge the Roman Republic into civil war. So that's what crossing the Rubicon means. And York's like, you saw? Did you see what happened? Like, what the fuck? And she's like, Dr. Mann told me,
Yeah, you saw me hold a gun.
And she's like, 355's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't there. I should have been there. And York's like, don't worry about it. Like, forget it, Jake. It's Marysville. And then 355's like, Jake? And he's like, how the fuck can someone know exactly what the Rubicon is, but they can't know a quote from Chinatown? But I'm like, yeah, that would be me. I would know.
Yeah,
Chinatown and know what the Rubicon is. But yeah, York's holding a pair of scissors, and there's Sony scissors, and they start talking about like what happened, and they're gonna about the town of Marysville's detaining all the Amazons. And they're gonna stagger individuals once they're ready to be re-released into society, And York's like, and you're okay with them being released? And 355's like, you're right. Like, let's not go back to this country's prison system before the collapse, because that was a nightmare.
I loved that. I love how she was like, listen, the prison system.
Listen, man, it was fucked up. Let's not do that again.
You clearly haven't seen Ava DuVernay's docuseries 13th. Like, come on now. Like,
yeah, it's and so 355 starts giving York a haircut, and so then 355 starts basically starts talking about her first assignment she was on, giving a bunch of backstory. Mm-hmm. And York's like, listen, I appreciate you trying to like fucking like relate to me, but it doesn't change my mind. Like, I think they should be locked up because what they did, deserve to be punished. And then 355's like, well, if they deserve to be punished, why don't you shoot her? And then he's like, well, because my mom was always an advocate for that. No one should be executed for their crimes. But they should rot in prison for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
and you're like,
rot in jail forever.
All right, man. Like, what's the difference at that point? And so then it cuts to 355 in prison, throwing up, and she's like, "Oh, my brother," and she's like, and the Amazon next to her is like, "I know, we'll get your brother," and she's like, "No, you don't understand. My brother's an escape artist," and then it shows that she was vomiting up a lockpick, and she's like, "He taught me a few tricks," and you're like, "Oh."
Which is wild, the fact that, like, out of all the tricks that York could have showed her, he said, I'm going to teach you how to swallow a key.
I'm going to teach you how to swallow a lockpick and then throw it up, because as a paramedic, you're definitely going to need to do this at some point. It's like,
right?
Huh?
It's wild. It's like, wild.
So, yeah. So then York and 355 are headed toward the train because they're leaving. And they're like, York's like, I hope we could have sticked around for Sonny's funeral. And 355's like, dude, the leader of the Amazons got killed. Like, that word's going to travel pretty fast. I don't think you want to be here when it does, because that's going to be big once they hear like a man was involved in the killing of the leader of the Amazon. So, so York decides to hop on, and that's when they meet the Russian lady. The Russian lady's back.
Yeah, the Russian lady's back.
He's causing a commotion again.
Yes.
Yeah, and York's like, hey, before you leave, you played David Bowie at her funeral. She really liked David Bowie. And please tell everyone I'm sorry. And the girl's like, it's okay, York. Like, it was not your fault. It's not your fault at all. It's the crazy fucking cold lady's fault. And so then they're on the train, and York's sitting out, and he has a moment with Dr. Mann where he's like, I'm just thinking about my girlfriend. And he's like, yeah, I know, you probably think I'm a shitty boyfriend after kissing that girl twice, but like, I really am locked in on getting to her at least to see her again. And, he's like, I look at the stars and I wonder if we're looking at the same ones. And Dr. Man's like, well, I mean, it's going to be middle of the day, Australia, so like, I don't think so.
That's it.
And then York is looking up at the stars, going, for half a second, I thought I was stupid enough to think this last guy on Earth gig might be pretty fun. And then at the end, cuts the International Space Station.
Remember, Russian lady was talking space.
Yep, International Space Station is losing oxygen, and that's when it's revealed still 2 fucking dudes up on the International Space Station, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going back to Earth, baby."
What?
Whoa! 2 dudes.
2 dudes. What do you mean? What do you mean? This is supposed to be Why the Last Man, not Why the Last Men. What is going on?
Why the Last Men? Oh my god.
Yeah, this was a great twist. I was like, that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's fun, dude. Yeah, so when we see a random Russian lady just blabbering about space, it's because there's 2 men up in space. We gotta listen to her, and no one's taking her seriously because even in the last at that page when she comes back, it's just in passing of her just rambling, and like no one taking her seriously. But now, like there are 2 men. They're literally 2 men up above. They're literally 2 men in space right now. They're still alive.
2 dudes up there.
So like. And I don't know about you, but this kind of confirmed for me when I read this the first time that, like, it is a plague because obviously they were up in space for a long time, like pre-exposure. So, like, what's gonna happen? Like, who's to know what happens if they land safely, if they're gonna contract it or not, or maybe if they're immune as well. Like, we don't really know, but it brings up a lot of questions.
Very interesting, very exciting cliffhanger.
But this issue was dope. It was a good ending. Again, I really did really love the Marysville town overall. I thought it was really great, and the fact that they didn't think it was fair to lock people up the same way they were locked up because they know what it's like to be locked up in a cage for long periods of time and not be and not really be given the opportunity to rehabilitate. So I thought that was really dope. Yeah, man. What did you think? Do you think that the Amazons should, have the chance to, rehabilitate, or just do what York thinks, just lock them up, throw away the key, due to what they've done?
I mean,
in your opinion,
I was gonna say, I think that I definitely don't think that they should be instantly, let go, because I think people who are a part of a devout Zealotic cult, can't instantly just be like, oh, my leader's dead, I'm fine now. You know what I mean? Like, they need some form of rehabilitation. So yeah, I actually do think that, the system that the girls came up with was a good idea of just locking them up until they felt that they were ready to reintegrate into society, is like the best possible option for that, because I don't think they should be locked up forever, because then it's like, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to spend all that time like feeding and doing whatever these people and not trying to get them to be able to comfortably reintegrate back into the Marysville society, which would be the easiest society for them to reintegrate in, because it's literally a bunch of women who just went through what they went through. So
yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a good outcome all around. York is just, he's one of those 2000s libs. That's I don't agree with the death penalty, but I do think that, everyone should be locked up for life. And you're like, whoa, what?
It's interesting, to say the least. But yeah, man. All right, do you want to move on to final thoughts in the score? No, just final thoughts. There's no score.
Score.
All right.
It's a big old Y chromosome out of 10.
Y chromosome out of 10. But what are your final thoughts on volume 2 of Why the Last Man, bro? Overall.
It was fun. I like seeing York constantly make an ass out of himself.
Yep.
It's always fun to see York go into a new situation and somehow find a new way to look like a fucking idiot, and then have to immediately apologize. Because that's the true male experience, That's what Brian K. Vaughan really nailed. Is the true male experience is going into a situation, instantly making an ass out of yourself, and then instantly having to be like, yeah, you know what, guys, I apologize. I'm going to leave now. And then not making anything better.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, it's pretty fun all around to see it go on.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to be like, yeah, like, you know, like Yorick pretty much. I feel like Yorick, which we'll see throughout the course of the story, but like we do see some instances where he gets the opportunity to change and like, you know, to like realize how much of an asshole he is and then like, you know, reflect on what's going on. So I really do appreciate like, yeah, like Yorick is realizing, yeah, I'm an asshole. I should change that. So
I'm saying, you get a bit of growth. You get him going like, oh damn, I jumped to a conclusion and I look like an asshole. Maybe I shouldn't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not he will, you know, remains to be seen. But
that is true. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, that stuff, like Yorick's progression stuff, him facing off against Hero, that was really good. And now seeing what's going going forward, you know, because you know Victoria did a number not just on her, but on a bunch of these women that were a part of the Amazons, and pretty much Victoria was manipulating essentially these victims because they were just doing what they needed to do to survive. So it's very interesting to see now with Victoria gone, what's going to be the future of the Amazons going forward. You know, so that's going to be very interesting to see. The prisoner stuff was dope. Again, with Yorick, you know, having that brief connection with Sonya, that was really interesting, and how, again, like, you know, how immediately yeah, he had that connection with Sonya, then it was immediately taken away because, you know, Hero killed her, his own sister killed her. So yeah, that was interesting, and just more camaraderie and stuff, and just, you know, camaraderie building with, you know, Dr. Man and 355. I think yeah, that was also really fun. So yeah, overall, this volume was a good follow up to volume 1. I thought it was fun. That was good stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's I guess that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to say before we close it out?
No, I'm good.
Nah, man. All right, man. So I'll just close it out here. So thanks to everyone who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate it. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know when we drop new content. Please hit a like button. If you've read Y: The Last Man, or you know, if you watched us talk about it, like, what do you think of it? You know, give us some thoughts, some theories down below. What do you think of the men up in space? That's the big thing. What about those spacemen? Know what I mean? Like, what's going on with them? You know, what's gonna happen when they land? You know, like, you know, that like, you know, have any? So just drop your theories down below in the comments. And you know, as always, please check out, you know, just some quick plugs, people. Please check out our recent Indie Corner After Dark, where we talked about mainly comic book stuff and Deadpool and Batman and, you know, the darkness and the Reddit cancellation. That was fun. Please check out the bonus episode that we did of Y: The Last Man, talking about Y: The Last Man Rising, the fan film that came out in 2012. That was fun. Please check out, you know, our interviews, our clips, their Deadly Class stuff, you know, our highlights and all that stuff. I mean, we put a lot of hard work into what we do. So our constant support really brings us joy, and we really appreciate it. Also, just be on the lookout, either today, tomorrow, or Wednesday. I will drop a post revealing our lineup for Fright Month 2025. We started recording an episode, and we're gonna be dropping. You know, we're gonna be recording more so we can drop them throughout the course of each week of October. But yeah, it's really exciting because Fright Month is one of the things I look forward to every year. So it's gonna be a good time. And just to give y'all a teaser of what we're covering with Y: The Last Man in the following week. But we're going to be covering Volume 3, which is going to be titled One Small Step, and that is going to be covering issues 11 to 15. And yeah, so that's the thumbnail here. I just picked it just because I love just like it looks like that. Obviously, the full cover will reveal the whole thing. I think that's one of my favorite covers in the volume. But like Ampersand and in a Shakespeare getup doing Shakespeare.
It's beautiful.
Adorable. I think it's awesome.
It's beautiful. It's my favorite cover, dude.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So for one small step, so obviously that implies space shit. So we're gonna see what's with the future of this reveal of the astronauts of the 2 male astronauts in space is gonna entail. So it's gonna be a good time. And as always, people, get home safe. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We catch you on the next one. All right. Peace.
Peace.